Might sell my soul. All green like someone go with the pole. He was talking hot, that nigga froze in the casket cold. Rockin' Kenneth Cole. EBs, Mr. Stay with the ratchet. My nine is a friend that I give him a clap. This 40 start breaking shit up, fucking static. This thinking for kids, this fucking little rap. HB, that's my brother, man. He gon' dump with the 4 or the 5 like your brother, man.
Get that shit great. Get that shit great. Yeah, yo, it's your boy Ja BANDZ. Back at it again. Or your boy Ja Reacts, you heard. We got another one, you feel me? I'm reacting to police discover a mass killer's secret hideout. Niggas really be crazy in this world, like, no bullshit, you heard? The video gonna be in the description, you feel me, like? Let's see what these boys talking about, you feel me? Turn it up. Alright, that's turned up. It's dirty as hell in there. What the? Officer arrived at the scene of the main suspect. What is it? Officers arrived at the scene of an elderly man suspected in a crime. That's how you pronounce that, right? Hold on. Maybe put my volume booster on.
This is Sarah Evans. She's just found the body of her good friend, Benny King, covered in blood inside his own home.
There's blood all over a wall. I'm against the ladder.
The killer, however, was nowhere to be seen, and every witness they had blamed somebody different.
All I know, he was a skinny guy, about 6 foot and 6'5", black.
With a young guy, he said it was a young white guy.
Did you talk to that down there? She's been taking all his money.
Weeks later, another murder happened across town in exactly the same fashion. They now had a serial killer on their hands, and they had to do everything they could to figure out who it was and where they were hiding out before they killed again.
Was me.
Laughing is crazy. That nigga's laughing. No remorse.
It all started on April 8th, when Akron police received this phone call.
Akron 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Oh my God.
What's the problem,
Ma'am, is he breathing?
No, not at the... Oh my God.
Immediately, police rushed to the scene.
Okay. You wanna go hang out over there for us so you can have room to work here?
The ground floor had been ransacked, but it was the scene upstairs that had terrified Sarah. Upstairs lay her good friend, 69-year-old Benny King, and cops would find that he'd been stabbed 33 times.
Where's his injuries at? I don't know. I have not touched him. All I did was touch him to see if he was stiff, but he's stiff and cold. So we're calling it obvious. Yeah, I'm not gonna move him. We'll let me. Okay.
Initially, the cops had no idea what could have possibly happened to Benny, but as they explored the house more, a clear picture would slowly be painted of exactly what had happened. His bed was absolutely soaked in blood, and his walls were covered in it too. Police presumed that Benny had been attacked in his bedroom before he crawled into the hallway, begging for his life, where the killer finished the job.
That's crazy.
The majority of the cuts were to his head, neck, and upper body, but there were a few wounds on his hands as well, indicating that Benny had courageously tried to fight back. The police don't know this yet, but in just a few weeks, this exact scene would be found across town in an identical murder. For now, though, what police found in the kitchen was even more bizarre.
Any idea, though? Can't find anything? I didn't dig around too much there. I'm really not going to. Well, because the lady you called and said that all of his cabinets in the kitchen are open, and she checks on them on a regular basis, and she's like, I don't know why that would be like that. Like someone was in there looking for something. Like all the cabinets here are open.
mean, who does this?
Oddly, though, nothing seemed to have been displaced or stolen. Something very strange is going on. So the cops turned to the person that discovered Benny's body, Sarah Evans, who had some crucial information that would start to spiral this case into a complex mystery.
Was it the back door that you found open?
No, the front. When I come back at 11:30, this door was locked.
Okay.
And when I called you, when I come back up, the front door was unlocked.
Okay, so you were actually here this morning at 11:30, and you spoke to him then?
No, I didn't see him then. I thought he would lay down taking a nap from drinking.
And then you came back a little bit after 1, and that's when you found the door open?
Yeah, it was unlocked.
Okay.
The back door is unlocked too.
Does he usually keep...
Somebody broke in there, right? She said door was locked. She came back unlocked, you feel me? So somebody broke in there, you feel me? Like kicking doors, you feel me? Went in there and poked my boy up, like I already know.
Keep his doors locked?
Yeah. So I said he locked it because he's taking a nap, but as soon as he gets up in the morning, he unlocks it.
Was the dog out when you got here?
No, the dog was in the chair.
Okay.
In the chair when I come in the door.
Now the dog don't got no owner. Damn.
Detectives then asked Sarah if she could think of anyone who had any issues with Benny. That's when she mentioned two brothers, Justin and Johnny, who were often seen visiting Benny. Sarah also told them that they had ongoing problems with Benny and were sometimes seen fighting with each other. In fact, their most recent argument resulted in Benny chasing them off his property with a shotgun. Justin also had problems with drugs and was always...
He got a bad body build. He looked dirty. Stressed. Yeah, it was him. He got nothing to lose.
On the lookout for a way to make money fast. So it's rumored that he'd stolen
Shirt
something of
got
Benny's and
stains.
pawned it, causing all these arguments. The drug addiction, history of exploiting Benny, as well as the gun incident just days prior, meant that police figured they finally had their suspects. But that's when Sarah mentioned a suspicious vehicle that had been spotted outside Benny's house right around the time of his death.
That was up through here earlier today, this morning, I guess. They sped away. They come back. I know it was earlier this morning. They come back and sped away again. He said it was a younger white guy driving.
Who said that?
A guy. I can't tell you because he's in trouble. He got worse. You know?
Okay. Well, what's his warrants for? Is it
I have no idea. So I'm just giving you the information I was getting.
Okay.
This seems like vital information, but the only guy that saw it is quite literally on the run from the cops with outstanding warrants. So the officer tries to see if he can strike a deal.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a detective coming. Okay. I understand that you guys' friend has some warrants. If it's possible that we can guarantee we're not arresting him, not doing anything, would you guys can go ask him if you want to talk to us then?
Ordinarily, a fugitive would never
No,
agree
he
to a
don't
deal
want
like
to talk to
this,
you if he
but
got
because Benny
warrants.
was such a nice and respected guy in the neighborhood, he comes outside just a few seconds later to tell the cops everything he knows.
How's it going, brother?
I was out here on my friend's porch and I saw this goldish, older style Hummer, big body Hummer.
That's a nice
Speed away
paint.
from over here. I didn't hear no
Sand
noises
paint.
like gunshots or anything.
Okay.
But
How about what time was that?
10:30, 11ish.
I was up here.
Maybe 12.
I come up here.
No, it had to be like.
I was up here at 11:30.
Okay, it had to be about 10:30 or something.
Okay, so it's between 10:30 and
Because
11.
then I heard her screaming about something, and all this happened.
Okay.
Then she discovered that. I've not seen that vehicle.
If she just said 11:30, she said she was at 11:30 like twice. Now he's saying 10:30, like, bro, she's sure it was 11:30. He talking about okay, 10:30, something like that. Like what? Keep an eye on him. You feel me? Keep an eye on him.
You've never seen that car around here or nothing? Did you happen to see who was driving?
A white male.
Okay.
Blondish, short hair. Short, kind of crew cut like yours.
Okay.
I would say anywhere from his mid-20s to early 30s. He sped around the corner so fast his tires were squealing.
Okay.
What the hell?
If the car had shown up around 12 that night, that's right in between Sarah's two visits to Benny's house, the exact window where Benny was murdered. And with how the car car was allegedly driving, it really does seem as though this Hummer has something to do with Benny's murder. They just need to figure out who was inside. And conveniently, a neighbor overheard this conversation and told the police that he knows a man in the neighborhood that drives a Hummer exactly like the one described. Unfortunately, he doesn't know the guy's real name, only his nickname, Jaybird.
You're just assuming Jaybird being connected to a Hummer.
Where do you live at? They all old. And it look country over there, like. I don't know. Country as hell.
Correct.
You don't know.
Right. I don't have any personal knowledge about that, but I know that I've seen him many times with
a Hummer?
Yeah, Hummer.
What color?
Roughly that color. It's like a dusty gold.
That's sand, fool. That's sand. That's a sand color paint.
It sounded like this Jaybird was a prime suspect, but nobody on the scene right now was able to tell them his real name. But before they're able to figure it out, they're confronted with a fourth suspect, and it was the last person that anyone had expected. This is Benny's daughter, Patricia, and as soon as she showed up on the scene, she seemed to already have her mind made up about who the killer really was.
He passed away. But,
Did you talk to the bitch down there? Let me say this friendly. That lady down there has been paying his bills. And she's been taking all his money and not paying on his bills. So the gas bill I have not yet paid.
We don't have a bill.
So I don't have a bill to say because she's not giving him the bills. She's keeping them. She is writing on the receipts what she is supposed to have paid versus what she really paid. And this has been going on for over 3 months. So she's been working on for 3 months. He's never had a bill that he never paid in full until this lady down the street decided that she was going to help him. She took upon herself to help him.
There we go.
And that's her way to get her drug fix, is by taking his money.
That's right. She's talking about Sarah. Apparently, since she's taken over paying Benny's bills, they've all either been late or underpaid. Patricia is certain that she's been stealing money from Benny this way, and in fact, she thinks she might have stolen even more, too.
And his money better still be in there because I know exactly where it's at.
where?
It's in a cabinet in this kitchen and a coffee jug.
Let's go.
I can come?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, the body's not in there no more.
I'll be right back out with you. I know in there.
He ain't had to say that though. The body's not in there no more.
Was it in there?
No, it was in a container like this.
Red Folgers?
It was in here. So whoever did this knows exactly where he hid his money. And she's one, and Johnny, those are the two that come down here. Those two are the suspects. I'm telling you, there's nobody else. Them two.
Everything is starting to fall into place. It now makes sense why the cabinets were flung open. Whoever killed Benny was looking for money. And that's not even the biggest revelation the cops are about to have. Not even close. Currently, they have 4 suspects, and any one of them could be their killer. Each one of these could take days to interview and process, but with every hour that passes, the killer is getting closer to finding their next victim. Luckily, after talking to another neighbor, they were given some vital information that cut down their search just a little bit and sent them in the direction of one man in particular. They were able to discover that Justin, one of the suspected brothers from earlier, had a nickname, Jaybird. The money, the gun, the drugs,
nigga, we see you looking at the camera. You looking for the camera. You ugly as hell.
This could definitely
bad
be their
body
killer.
built.
So to ensure they had all the information possible, they started interviewing his brother, Johnny, so that when they got around to Justin, they'd have no trouble getting him to confess.
Oh, hell, probably afternoon. I took my dog over there so you could see him. Me and my wife did. I had her take the dog around back. Then I brought the dog in for a couple minutes so he could pet it. He got pissed off about something, so we left.
What did he get pissed off about?
Excuse me.
He did.
What did he get pissed? What was he
Because
pissed
that little
about?
dog he's got, he don't like no other dogs. You know what I mean? Being around his little dog, because he's afraid the dog's gonna eat him.
Do you go over and see him quite often?
Yep, sure do. Go over and drink a beer with him just about every day.
So you last saw him
I know they
yesterday
drink
about
beer.
7:30 in the
Bad
evening?
body
Yeah,
builds.
what's this all about?
He's dead.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God. I gotta go down there, dude.
The cops figured this reaction to be genuine, and as they talked to him more, they became certain that Johnny didn't know anything about the crime.
It sound
But
like
that
he don't
doesn't
know.
mean his brother is innocent. In fact, what Johnny is about to say actually makes the cops even more suspicious.
Who is Justin?
Brother.
Okay, when would he have seen him later than you had?
No, he ain't been a lot around down there.
If somebody said they saw him down there, that wouldn't be true?
I don't know. When I go down there, my brother ain't there.
Usually, Johnny and Justin would go and see Benny every morning at around sunset, and that's been the case for the last 3 years since his wife passed away. Johnny can't think of a reason for Justin to be down there so early, especially not on his own without telling.
He pissed me off. Bro, your shirt. He just, I don't know.
Him. Johnny was even able to provide some extra details about the disagreement they had recently, proving to the cops just how heated it had gotten between them.
He told him, look, get the away from my house. Don't you ever come back again. He said, I've loaned you money 4 or 5 times on this bull junk stuff that you bring me. I'm on a fixed income here. I can't just keep giving.
He physically pushed him?
Oh, yeah.
By this point, the cops had already heard all they needed to hear. 19 hours later, they managed to track down Justin and would bring him in for interrogation. Justin was left in the interrogation room for around 45 minutes before the interrogation began. This is a tactic used, among many others, to make Justin feel as uncomfortable as possible.
Hey, Justin. You are arrested for those warrants we talked about. You got 4 warrants on you. How do you know him? What's your relationship with him? Can you kind of take us through that?
My brother, he was more or less like a stepfather, pretty much.
How so?
Took a stick and give me $1 or a cigarette or something to eat, or, you know what I mean? I lived next door to him there for 4 or 5 months. Even I had a warrant, which I went and did my time and got it all taken care of, you know what I mean? If you're asking, did I kill him? No, I did not.
It seems rather straightforward from Justin's perspective. He had exactly...
How your arms skinny and your body look like that?
the same nice things to say about Benny and doesn't seem stressed out or anxious about being here. He's leaning forwards towards the detective instead of instinctively pulling away. He's maintaining eye contact when he can, and his tone seems deliberate and genuine. Everything about how he's presenting himself is relaxed, as though he's just trying to give the detectives what they need and get out of there. But unfortunately, just saying you didn't murder someone isn't enough for the cops, so they decide to confront him with the evidence they've gathered against him.
So we talked to everybody in the neighborhood except for the one person that they said he paid from the house.
Was me.
So,
Yeah.
is that over money or what was that about?
Yeah, it was over money, but no, I was with my brother at his house. I told you he was drinking beer with. I had to take it, okay? He told me rather than tell me. Sorry.
You say anything about a shotgun?
Yeah, he did. He told my brother, he's like, I should take my shotgun down there and pump a couple of the twins in his ass. He said that. My brother did.
Face from it.
I guess. He never had a problem giving me money or anything like that. He pulled it right out of his pocket. He was a good guy. I cared for him as a dad.
Justin was banned from the house and there was an argument over money, but it doesn't seem like he held that against Benny at all. But the detectives find this strange. All the signs pointed towards Justin being the killer, but now he seems like he had no issues with Benny at all. But they've still got their main piece of evidence though. His Hummer was seen at Benny's house on the morning of the murder. That had to mean he was lying this whole time, right?
You drove or used to drive a Hummer?
Hummer.
You ever drive a Hummer in the neighborhood?
No.
Did you ever work on a Hummer?
Never had, no. I always had a fucking Hummer.
You know anybody that,
No.
If you watch any interrogation where a guilty suspect is confronted with a piece of valid evidence, their reaction is always very stiff and short. They try and deflect it immediately by saying no and explaining exactly why that could never be the case without showing a hint of emotion. Justin is an ex-convict that works various handyman jobs jumping from place to place. He doesn't need to explain why he doesn't own a $40,000 SUV. His facial expression when he's asked, alongside the way he laughs and jokes naturally about the concept, is enough to tell the detectives he was telling the truth. They still didn't want to discount him completely as a suspect, but they did figure that if he wasn't the killer, then he might at least be able to help them out. So they asked who he thought might have been responsible, and his answer was someone they were very familiar with. Sarah.
She knew. She took bank cards to
She
the
did
bank, food stamps. That's what my brother was telling me on the phone the other day.
She poked him up while he was asleep.
He thinks that she might have had something to do with it. So if I pointed
And if it wasn't her?
I'd probably check.
If it wasn't her, it's somebody she know. The one that said 10:30, you feel me? When she said 11:30 twice, and then he said 10:30 or something, it was him. Watch.
Her for sure.
Of course, he's talking about Sarah, and he's accusing her of exactly the same thing Patricia did earlier. And in fact, John had even mentioned this in his interview earlier that day too.
Anybody in that neighborhood or anybody have any problems with him or give him a rough time?
What's called down the street there.
Who's that?
I'm trying to think of her name. She lives down at the end of the
Yeah.
road. She'd go over there, take his money for bills, go up to the corner store, and was supposed to pay on all his bills. Well, come to find out, she ain't been paying the full amount on your bills. She's been only paying half. And I went over there one day. He said, after all I've done for that bitch.
Did they reconcile at all, or?
No, he said, look, you're a thief. Get the out of my house. Don't ever ask me for another dime.
Quickly, the cops are starting to realize that Sarah wasn't the wonderful, trusted member of the community that they'd assumed she was. Now, three people have claimed that she was
She's stressing, smoking that booty, like, no bullshit.
exploiting Benny's trust to steal his money, and all are saying that she could be the killer. To make matters worse for her, she's also the only person left that knew about his money stash in the coffee can.
Right.
Things are getting extremely complex, and the cops have already worked tirelessly for days now. And the problem is, the longer this investigation goes on for, the longer the killer is on the loose, meaning the higher the chances that they might kill again. So now, 6 days after Benny's murder, detectives bring in Sarah for an interview. It was imperative that they either catch the killer right now or get new information that brings them straight to them. If they don't, then they'll have no suspects, no leads, and a murderer at large.
We know that you called 911. We got the recording, so we listened to that. We understand that you would pay his bills. Tell us about that.
Well, that's where we had a dispute. I went to pay his bill. Well, no, I had to pay $40 on it. I needed to borrow that. He said, go ahead, did not remember. I paid him back his $40. That's why I was still wrong.
That was, you brought there.
That's who made up, yeah.
In the interview, similarly to Justin, Sarah doesn't deny the disagreement between them and fully admits that she took some money from him to pay his bills. But again, they seem to make up and become friends again. This time, though, the detectives aren't buying it. Not when so much is on the line.
We're hearing two different sides of what we're talking about. We're hearing what you're telling us, but we're hearing from his daughter and what his best friend's telling us. Now, we've been hearing that he banned you from coming to his house. He didn't want you handling his bills or anything like that. So much that the owner of the store called him and said, hey, she's scamming you. So you're telling us that is not true.
That's not
She
true.
getting uncomfortable.
That is not true. I went up there. I didn't go up there until I had the $40 in my hand to pay him.
Sarah is saying that all she took from Benny was $40, and she even paid it back. It'd just been blown out of proportion as she wasn't able to get in contact with Patricia and Johnny to clear her name again. It's suspicious, but the detectives aren't going to get anything more out of her on this front, so they decide to ask her some more background questions. Usually these don't end up solving the case, but this time, one of their questions provoked an answer that seriously piqued their interest.
There's a lady that was smoking. She had like salt, pepper hair, long hair. That's not your. Let me ask you this: it's not your daughter. She's not.
My daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's your daughter. She doesn't live there with you. Do you have any other children?
Yeah.
Did any of them live with you?
The audio we received from the police department is censored here, but Sarah tells the cops about her other kid, a boy named Jason, a boy who had just gotten out of prison.
It looked like he did it. He involved.
He's got out of prison, so.
When did he get out of prison?
Yes, that's number.
What was he in jail for?
Murder, right?
Robbery. Was your son be capable of doing something?
Oh God, I pray not. No, I would pray not.
According to the detectives, when they asked this question, Sarah tensed up and seemed extremely closed off. She inhales sharply and her whole body jumps when they bring up this possibility.
I told you she
as far
uncomfortable,
as the
bro.
detectives are concerned, whether intentionally or not, she just told them there is a possibility. That's all they're able to focus on, and it all makes sense, too.
Nervous.
She knew about the coffee can full of money, so what if she'd accidentally mentioned that to Jason? He'd just gotten out of prison for robbery, and it'd make complete sense if he saw Benny as an easy target and decided to try and steal his cash. That could even explain the Hummer, too. It was a nice car that Jason might have jacked and used to get in and out of the scene quickly. Instantly, the hunt for Jason began, but no matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't track him down. But that's when some new information came to light. Information that would change everything. An inmate of the prison Jason was staying at had contacted police after hearing about the crime, claiming that he knew who the perpetrator was, and promised to reveal it to them in an interview.
So I'm told you told one of the deputies you got some information about a homicide?
That's about the old guy that got stabbed. Yeah, his mother found the body, and then I heard him and his mom arguing over the phone. It wasn't supposed to go that far. Because she always going over the house clean up when she been doing that for years. And everybody in the neighborhood know they did it, just nobody was speaking on it. I don't know why.
The inmate said he'd heard Jason and Sarah talking about the murder on the phone after Jason thought he'd hung up. The cops now had no doubt in their minds who their new...
I know what happened. When they was on the phone, right? He probably was telling her. Jason was telling his mom, you feel me? It wasn't supposed to go that far, right? So, boom. You feel me? She went to go check on where he lived at. Found it, you feel me? Found the body, you feel me? And then she called the cops, trying to make up a story, you feel me? Trying to lie for her son, I know, bro, I know.
Number one suspect was, and by this point in the investigation, it's likely Jason's cash was starting to run out. They had to find him as soon as possible, before he got the chance to kill again. But, unfortunately, they were already too late.
He caught another body?
Hi, my name is George Bayless. I'm down in Florida now, but my father's still up in Akron.
Caught another body?
We haven't been able to get a hold of him, and some of his neighbors got a hold of me today too and said they haven't seen him since Saturday.
Wow.
They said there were some people over there they didn't really recognize.
Alright, so we have it in. We're going to get someone over there to check it out, and then we can give you a follow-up call.
Police quickly initiated a welfare check on George's father, Gary Ballas. When they arrived, they knocked on the front door, and after receiving no response, the officers forced entry through a side door.
Gary! Akron Police! Gary, it's Akron Police! Gary!
That house is filthy.
On Thursday, May 21st, Gary Ballas was found dead. It was obvious he'd been dead for a few days, and given the abundance of stab wounds, it was ruled a homicide. An investigation would turn up very little information, except for the fact that Gary's car was missing from the driveway. So next, they started to talk to his neighbors to see if they knew anything about what had happened.
Hacker Police. Just wonder if I could talk to you a couple seconds about your neighbor behind you. When's the last time you saw him? Was anybody there with him?
He came over here.
Oh yeah?
Knocked on the door.
What did he say?
He came over to pick flowers out of the yard.
Purple ones?
Lilacs.
Did he have anybody with him when he was there?
He came over here by himself.
Did he have that car there Tuesday?
I don't remember. I was over here.
Right. Do you remember? Do you know what kind of car it is?
Blue station wagon.
Like a Subaru?
Yeah.
Anybody else live here that might have seen him?
Just my kids live here with me.
Have you seen your neighbor lately?
Gary?
Yeah.
No, last time I saw him was like 3-4 days ago.
The car was there when she took the flowers over? Do you remember?
The car hasn't been there for over a week.
A week? You want to step out
A week is crazy.
So Gary is deceased. It's looking suspicious. That's why I'm asking you these questions. He hasn't mentioned anybody. You haven't seen anybody. You haven't heard any fighting. So obviously, then it was somebody that's come here before.
It's a little
Neighbors ain't got nothing to do with it.
To have been at his place for over a
She
week,
is too shocked.
especially given Gary was still home. There's a chance that this family could be misremembering, but the cops got exactly the same information from each of the other neighbors.
Hi, sir. Sorry to bother you so late. No problem. Okay. Are you familiar with the older gentleman that lives at the blue house across the street?
Yeah, that's Gary.
Gary?
Yeah, that's her. Jenny. Hey, Jenny. I want to know who's Gary.
What's
He's our neighbor. She used to help him out. She used to babysit his wife.
When's the last time you seen Gary?
In a couple days.
Couple days?
Yeah.
Like
he was out cutting his grass.
Do you remember what day that was?
Today's what, Thursday?
Yeah, today's Thursday.
Thursday, probably not Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
He's always out cutting his grass.
Is he? He frequents cutting his grass?
Yeah.
What, is something happened to Gary, or?
You were investigating an incident that occurred over there.
Oh, okay.
The only issue was, not a single one of the neighbors could tell the cops who might be driving that car. Gary did have visitors over somewhat frequently, but they never used his car. If the cops could figure out where the vehicle was and who took it, it seems like they'd have a pretty sure shot at finding the murderer. And that's when they talked to this couple, who claim they've seen a new guy around his house recently.
Excuse me, has anybody been over to talk to you guys yet?
No.
Okay.
You know, I called the police out here yesterday, and they didn't even want to go in there.
I don't have my mask.
What did you call them yesterday for?
Because I haven't seen him since Saturday, and it's not like him to leave town and not tell me.
You haven't seen him since Saturday?
Nobody answer that door. But you said you guys are positive, though.
It was Saturday he was cutting his grass?
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy with the cane before?
No. Nope, never seen him before.
Was he white or black? You said he was younger?
Yeah.
His car wasn't there?
No, his car hasn't been there since Sunday.
Okay.
But soon the cops were able to put together exactly what had happened. It turns out Gary was never in that car with the other man. When his car pulled out of his driveway for the last time, Gary was already dead. But at least they had a description of who they thought the murderer was. And even better, just a short time after,
He
the
pulled up
cops
to the
received
G
word that
station?
his car had been seen at a gas
Oh,
station
man.
on surveillance camera. Unfortunately,
man.
the camera quality was too poor to properly make out his identity, but at least the cops now know without a shadow of a doubt that if they find that car, they can find the man that killed Gary. But it turns out someone had already done that for them. An unnamed witness came forward and told them that he'd seen that very car and knew precisely who
Who
it
it
now belonged
was?
to.
Oh man.
Jason came over
over
Oh man.
Sunday morning. He was gonna help me work on the house I'm working on.
Do you know Jason's last name?
Shogli, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, something like that. Anyway, he came over, but I had to go to Harbor Freight because I needed a grinder. And so I told him, I said, I got to go to Harbor Freight. He said, oh, I'll take you. And I said, wait a minute, Jason. I said, I'm not getting in no hot car. I said, is that car hot? He said, no, the car's not hot.
Yeah.
I said, well, you know, I wouldn't do you like that. The car's
That
not
nigga
hot.
in a stolen G-Rod.
He's talking about is Gary's Subaru. But more importantly, he just mentioned the name of the man they believe killed Benny, Jason Shockley.
Yeah.
This was
He
a
got 2
shocking
bodies.
breakthrough in both cases. Not only have they essentially just solved Gary's murder, but now they're hot on Jason's tail and have more evidence than ever to try and track him down. Back on the scene, they'd also noticed that Gary's credit cards had been stolen, and this guy's story even lines up perfectly with that too.
He said, my friend let me use it. He went to Florida. He gave me a credit card, told me to keep gas in it, and I can buy cigarettes and buy me something to eat if I need it. I was kind of like not believing him, but he said, no,
I don't believe
I
it
swear.
either.
It almost seemed too good to be true, so the detectives asked the witnesses
That's
to
obvious
pick
he's
Jason
lying.
out of a photo lineup, and he pointed straight at him instantly. Jason was now the suspect of a double
2
homicide.
bodies.
2 citywide investigations had converged into one.
This nigga is
Every single
bugging.
officer and detective in the area knew they
He's
couldn't let
bugging,
Jason
chat.
take another life, so they had to act fast and hunt him down. That's when police received one final phone call, this time from Sarah Evans,
Oh, man.
Jason's mother. On that call, knowing how dangerous he could be, she decided to give up her own son and told the police the address of his safe house.
No, he's right there. This dude's whack. What's the big one? This one? Which house is it? It's the second one. The one on the right. 1887. Is there a way to go back to? I don't know.
They on his body. They on his body. He in a trap. That nigga's in a trap house. He probably up there asleep, don't even know the boys on the way.
The house was abandoned, boarded up,
It's a
and
trap
dirty.
house.
It was unclear if anyone was even inside.
He in a
The
bando.
cops have to be extremely vigilant, as they know Jason could be armed. After clearing the first floor, they moved upstairs as a group and tried to figure out where Jason was hiding.
They gotta move like they playing SOCOM. Moving like Rainbow Six. Them stairs is dirty as hell. Them stairs are ill. Ew.
Only one door on this floor was fully closed, and every other room
You don't
was
hear all that
empty.
walking?
This is where they think Jason is. Problem is,
Yeah,
they've already
word.
made a lot of noise. So
Facts, I
whoever's on
just
the other
said that.
side of that door could be prepared. That's why they decide to storm in.
Kicking doors down. How you, like, how niggas could sleep in that environment, bro? I don't know.
Roll on your stomach, hands are behind your back. Let's go. Hurry up, Jason. Anybody else in the house?
You got everything to leave on you, man? Besides the knock? Alright, stand down. So,
You got shoes, bud? Where are your shoes at?
Right underneath the blanket right there.
You what, a paddle? Shake them?
Yeah.
How old are you now, man? 30. Remember you as a kid over there, man, on Johnson Block, man.
Damn. The boys knew you since you was little.
That was me.
I always call it.
Okay. Oh, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Here he comes.
All right. Do you know, does anybody have anybody else on the car?
I don't think so. I don't think they even know.
Yeah, we need to get.
Just as they'd hoped, Jason was found lying amongst rubble and trash on the second floor, attempting to hide away from the very people who just put him in cuffs. Thankfully, he put up no resistance, and a quick sweep of the house confirmed he was the only person here. Amongst the trash on the floor, the officers found multiple knives and a credit card belonging to Gary Ballas. After 6 weeks of investigations, they finally caught him. He was then taken out of the house and into the back of a patrol car. But there was still one problem with all of this. They still had no evidence that he was the one who killed Benny all those weeks ago. Sure, the connection is strange and multiple people have accused him, but there's nothing solid. That's what the cops wanted to change in the interrogation room and bring peace to Benny's family almost 2 months after his death. Remember, Jason is likely not aware of exactly how much the cops know.
So boom. I'm just sitting here thinking as I watch the video, you feel me? Mom Dukes didn't want to believe it was him, you feel me? That's why she was tensing all up and all that, you feel me? But she knew he was dangerous, you heard? So she just, you feel me, helped the cops up. She helped the cops, you feel me? Put that boy up. I know.
He knows is that he was arrested and now the cops are interrogating him. He might even think that they don't know about the murders and that he could get away with everything.
How do you know Gary Ballas? I knew that Gary, like I said, my cousin lived next door, but my mom used to go over and help him out a lot. He gets to telling me about how he hates Donald Trump and everything. Yeah, he's a very smart man. Yeah. Hey, he's out there. He's a trip. Yeah. I asked him, if there'd be a possibility if he can lend me his car so I can work and stuff. Okay. He's iffy on it for a second, you know what I mean? He doesn't like people using his car and stuff. Right. He was like, I'm gonna be that big. He was like, I want to see you succeed. He said, I want to see you do like, I just got out of prison. So how long have you had this car for? I've had this car for a few days. How long have you known him for? I've known Gary for almost 9 years. Oh, wow. So you had a long relationship. I've stayed a night or two at his house before. So you've been in the house before? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Everything up until this point is mostly the truth. He did know Gary and he had spent some time with him recently. But remember, he was found with Gary's stolen credit cards in his stolen car just days after he was murdered. This is shaping up to be a textbook interrogation where the detectives will have to catch him out in various lies in order to extract the truth. And they're about to start that process immediately.
GG's.
What do you mean? Tell you what happened? I have people that are in the area that see you and him together. He's been deceased since about the same time you seen him. You got his card and his credit cards. Okay. Tell me what happened. I told you. He lends me his card. Why is his neighbors and his son and everybody else saying that he will not let his car lend you? Yeah, everybody's told me that. And that's what they're full of. Look, all I did was knock on the outer door.
can smell it from the sidewalk.
He's claiming that Gary had lent him his car for work and had used the credit cards he'd left in his car to just buy a few cigarettes. But clearly the cops don't believe him. In fact, this entire questioning segment about Gary is more of a formality. They have much more evidence about this crime than they do Benny's. So their plan is to try and have him confess to Gary's murder so that confessing to Benny's doesn't seem like such a big deal. It seems like a clever strategy, but it won't work if Jason simply refuses to admit to anything.
Would you agree with us that it's kind of weird that you're the last person that seen with him?
Yes, I find that weird. I see where you guys stand with me. But at the same time, I'm not no dude. That's not do, man.
Well, sometimes people don't know in it. Sometimes people get in an argument with people
No. Anybody that knows me will tell you that's not what I do. So what? I smoke some crack.
Yeah, look like you do.
Since I was 11 years old.
11 is crazy.
Know what I do? Some stupid shit like that. At home.
If you were a jury and you heard your story about a man who loaned you his car, who has been known not to loan his car to anybody.
Right.
His family says, his neighbor says so.
Right.
Because if you don't help yourself, this can end up really bad for you.
When confronted with the cold, hard facts, something changes about Jason. He loses his confidence, he's fidgeting with his hands.
I gotta change his life.
He avoids making eye contact with the detective however he can, whether it be looking down at the table, up at the ceiling, or even at the wall next to him. He almost looks ashamed. And that's no illusion. Pay close attention to what he does next, as it marks the beginning of a startling confession.
Even if you did wrong and the judge, and you admit to what happened and everything else, the judge takes that into consideration because it shows remorse. You want me to turn it off? Stop. You erased the first one. I'm not erasing anything. You erased the first one. I'm not erasing anything. No evidence. I can't do that. You erased, I'm saying, you erased the first one, I'm going to tell you what you got. There, it's completely off.
Jason thinks that audio recorder is the only thing recording what he's saying right now. Somehow he doesn't realize the camera in the corner also has a microphone built in. So now that the audio recorder is off, he thinks he's free to say whatever he wants.
GG's.
He's over there drinking all of this stuff, just talking bullshit. I guess my mom borrowed $20 from him. He was telling me about it and stuff, and then we had to be we're over with some. I'm very protective of my mom.
Okay.
I love my mom all the time. You got to talking a little crazy about my mom. I asked him that very first stuff. So, I'm like, you know what, I gotta go. I get up and leave. And to throw this cup at me. And he had wine and he threw it at me. Picked up his knife and pushed him down. He dropped the knife. I took the knife. Where did you push that knife? Back into his chair. He said, I'll shoot you. And when he went to reach, I don't know.
It was a textbook confession, and the cops did an incredible job at helping him through it and making him feel comfortable. The thing is, they know this still isn't the whole truth, but it's all they need for now. They could disprove his self-defense story later in court. What matters is that he admitted to it in some respect. Now they can switch gears to Benny's murder, but he's not going to make that one as easy.
You probably are going to prove that you did Benny.
No, because I didn't do Benny.
And you're definitely going to be looking at a capital case.
And I'll be looking at a capital case as an innocent man for somebody out here too.
You told us about Gary. Just like Detective Kennedy said, the two cases are like a mirror.
No, you're lying about the cases being similar.
Despite just being finessed into admitting to murder, Jason suddenly thinks he's the smartest person in the room. The cases are almost an exact mirror of each other, but Jason thinks he can escape liability for at least one of them. But he's dead wrong.
See, here's another thing. You just told us that you went through Gary's pants. You went through Ben's pants too. Because Benny was known to carry several $100s in his pants pocket.
That I didn't.
Everybody did.
No,
Everybody knew.
I did it. So Benny never pulled money out in front.
I didn't say that.
Most moms are like, there's no way my kid would do that.
No, she knows for a fact that I didn't do that.
I'm not saying about Benny. I'm just saying your mom's sitting here thinking, it's impossible.
How small is the town? If everybody know everybody, like, that's crazy.
That's what we talked to her about. Just did. Yeah, we talked about.
She's freaking out. And as far as me asking her if I thought you did it, it was now, hell no. It was, oh my God, I hope not. Jason, do you see what you're...
Listen to me, okay? I done told you about f***ing Gary, bro. But this shit about Benny was not me.
And despite all the pressure the cops put on him, this is the story he stuck to. It seemed he thought he could maybe convince a jury of one self-defense charge, but two was simply too suspicious. But that didn't matter, as the cops figured they still knew exactly what happened. Jason knew Benny through his mother and had heard about the coffee can of cash. He broke in one morning in an attempt to steal the cash, accidentally waking Benny in the process. They started fighting, and Jason, fearing he'd call the police, stabbed him multiple times. Eventually, Benny crawled out to the hallway where he bled out. They also started to discount his story about Gary's murder. They believed that it wasn't any form of self-defense, and in reality, it was simply a disagreement. Jason had gotten irrationally angry after Gary refused to let him use his car. In his rage, he shoved him to the ground and killed him in the same manner, before stealing his credit cards and leaving in his car. These are the theories that the prosecution presented to the jury, and, as expected, they believed them. Only one person was charged in the murders of Benny King and Gary Ballas. Justin, Johnny, and Sarah were all ruled innocent. But Jason wasn't so lucky.
Wrong.
In 2022, he was convicted of both of the murders and sentenced to life in prison.
I knew it was life.
You're interested
That's
in
crazy, bro.
watching
That was a crazy video, bro. It's gonna be in the future. You're probably gonna do 2 videos a year. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. You feel me? And I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
They say it's my fault for the way I live, but I say nah, it's not. I just bought a new chopper for me and my bros. That shit go block a block. You on they block like construction, but they not outside. The Reaper running with them apes, that's why it's hot outside. Now we ain't trying to play by the rules. We spot him, we got him, we get him. I told you my dog don't play with his food. We stuck in them.